You know about your heart, your lungs, your brain, the big name organs working to keep you alive. But what if I told you that every single one of the trillions of cells that make you is running on its own set of tiny organs? We're not just talking about one big factory. We're talking about an estimated 37.2 trillion microscopic cities, each one bustling with its own power plants, factories, and transit systems, all running non-stop. In the next few minutes, we're going on a tour of the most exclusive, high-tech city you've never seen, the one inside your own cells. These tiny structures are called organelles, which literally means little organs, and they're the foundation of everything you are. Section 1. The city limits. Cell membrane. Every great city needs a border, a clear line separating what's inside from the world outside. For the cell, that's the cell membrane. Think of it as the city limits patrolled by a highly selective police force. This flexible, double-layered barrier doesn't just hold everything together, it meticulously controls everything that comes in and goes out. Nutrients get an access pass, waste gets kicked to the curb, and unwanted visitors are denied entry. It's not a solid wall, but a fluid, active gatekeeper that makes sure the city inside stays stable and protected. Section 2. The grounds. Cytoplasm and cytoskeleton. Okay, we're past the gates. Welcome to the cytoplasm. This is basically the entire world inside the cell, but outside of the nucleus. If the cell is a city, the cytoplasm is all the ground it's built on, filled with a jelly-like substance called cytosol. But don't picture a calm bowl of jello. This place is humming with activity. Floating in the cytosol are all the other organelles we're about to visit. But this city isn't just a chaotic soup, it has infrastructure. Running through it all is the cytoskeleton. Imagine a vast network of steel girders, scaffolding, and highways that gives the city its shape and structure. This protein framework provides support, but it's also dynamic. It's a transportation system, a molecular highway where other organelles travel like delivery trucks, zipping from one end of the city to the other.
Section 3. The command center, the nucleus. Now, let's head to the heart of our cellular city, the real seat of power, the nucleus. This is City Hall, the command center, the boss. The nucleus holds the city's most treasured possession, your DNA. These are the master blueprints containing the genetic instructions for everything the cell will ever do. How to work, what to build, and when it's time to divide. This priceless information is protected by a double-walled fortress called the nuclear envelope, like a high-security fence around City Hall, complete with pores that act as guarded checkpoints. It allows specific instructions in the form of RNA to be sent out to the rest of the cell while keeping the master plans safely locked inside. And deep within the nucleus, there's an even denser spot called the nucleolus. Think of it as the city's planning office, responsible for making the components for our next stop, the factories. Section 4. The factories and assembly lines. Ribosomes and ER instructions from the nucleus are useless if no one's there to build anything. That's where ribosomes come in. These are the city's countless little factories that carry out protein synthesis. They read the RNA instructions and translate them into proteins, the tiny machines and components that do almost all the work in the cell. Some ribosomes float freely, making proteins that will be used right there in the cytoplasm. Others are attached to a massive, sprawling network of membranes called the endoplasmic reticulum, or ER for short. This is the city's main industrial park and highway system rolled into one. The parts of the ER covered in ribosomes are called the rough ER. Here, proteins are built and then fed into the ER's channels to be folded and modified. Then there's the smooth ER. This section has no ribosomes and a totally different but just as vital job. It's the specialty plant for making fats and lipids, and it's also the detox center, breaking down harmful substances before they can cause trouble.
Section 5.
The post office, the Golgi complex. Once proteins are made in the rough ER, they are not quite ready to ship. They need to be sorted, packaged, and sent to the right address. Their next stop is the Golgi complex. Think of it as the city's ridiculously efficient central post office. It looks like a stack of flattened sacks, kind of like pancakes. Tiny transport bubbles called vesicles pinch off from the ER and merge with the Golgi, dropping off their protein cargo. Inside, the proteins are modified again, sorted, and tagged with a molecular shipping label. The Golgi then packages these finished proteins into new vesicles which zip off to their final destinations. Some deliver their contents to other organelles, while others head to the cell membrane to ship their cargo outside the cell entirely. It's a logistical masterpiece, ensuring every package gets exactly where it needs to go. Section 6. The power plants, mitochondria. So, who's powering this entire 24/7 operation? Meet the mitochondria, the undisputed powerhouses of the cell. These are the power plants working around the clock to generate energy for every single activity we've talked about. Through a process called cellular respiration, they take nutrients like glucose and convert them into ATP, the main energy currency of the cell. Cells that need a ton of energy, like your muscle cells, are jam-packed with thousands of mitochondria. And here's what's truly mind-blowing. Mitochondria have their own DNA, separate from the nucleus, and they reproduce all on their own. This is evidence for the endosymbiotic theory, which suggests that billions of years ago, mitochondria were actually independent bacteria that were engulfed by larger cells. They formed a partnership that has lasted to this day. So yes, you have ancient creatures living inside every one of your cells, powering your very existence. Section 7. The cleanup crew, lysosomes and peroxisomes. A busy city makes a lot of trash. If you don't manage it, everything grinds to a halt. That's a job for the lysosomes, the cell's waste disposal and recycling centers. These are small sacs filled with powerful digestive enzymes. They roam the cell, breaking down old, worn-out organelles, food particles, and even invading viruses or bacteria. The raw materials from this breakdown are then sent back into the cell to be reused. It's the ultimate recycling program. Working alongside them are peroxisomes. Think of these as the hazardous waste specialists. They handle breaking down specific substances like fatty acids and neutralizing toxic materials, most notably hydrogen peroxide, which they safely convert into water and oxygen. Section 8. The Foremen, Centrioles. Finally, a city that needs to grow needs a foreman to manage new construction. In animal cells, that job belongs to the centrosome, which contains a pair of structures called centrioles. Found near the nucleus, these barrel-shaped organelles are masters of organization. When it's time for a cell to divide, the centrioles jump into action. They organize the cytoskeleton's microtubules into spindle fibers, which act like ropes that perfectly pull the duplicated chromosomes apart, making sure each new daughter cell gets a complete and correct set of blueprints. Conclusion. So, let's zoom back out. From the guarded border of the cell membrane to the command center in the nucleus. From the protein factories to the power plants. This isn't just a jumble of parts. It's a perfectly coordinated, dynamic, and breathtakingly complex city that is humming with life. All of these organelles dance in perfect harmony to keep the cell and you running. And this city, this microscopic metropolis, is just one of the nearly 40 trillion operating inside you at this very moment. They are the fundamental reason you are alive. So the next time you think about your body, don't just think of your heart or your brain. Think of the trillions of tiny cities within, each one a universe of its own, working together in perfect harmony. If you had fun on this tour of the cellular city, and want to explore more hidden scientific worlds? Make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. And let us know in the comments, which organelle do you think has the coolest job? Thanks for watching.